Do you like plants? How about trying to keep plants alive? If so, then Leaf Quest by Pryank is the game for you. Get ready to take on the role of a plant caretaker to ensure it grows big and strong by controlling the temperature and proper water level. Let's dive further into this 2-minute gaming experience, but keep in mind this was a game jam project that was meant to be done in 48 hours. Leaf Quest starts off visually strong. The back and foreground sprites are clear and beautiful, while the plant that you are trying to keep alive and growing is small and cute. Pryank also provided an in-game tutorial. This tutorial was just some small walls of floating text, which was easy to read. It is always appreciated when a game puts some type of method of showing the player how to play their game. Once the journey begins, the plant starts growing and the meters found at the top of the screen show how well your plant conditions are. There are some obstacles that are randomly put in place, such as physical objects, that get in the way, and weather changes which all affect the meters that you are trying to keep balanced. Visually, the game is pleasant to look at, but doesn't match the gameplay. The main game mechanic is the temperature and water level controller. You have 2 meters that you need to keep an eye on to confirm the optimal levels for the best plant growth. The goal of the game is to grow completely out of the canyon. The concept was definitely an original idea based on the theme of warmth that was given for the GDL Winter Jam. While the plant is growing, you need to also move it left or right to avoid obstacles. I did notice that it seemed that there was no real losing state to the game, which is perfectly fine since it makes the game feel a little more relaxing. The avoidance of obstacles did fall flat for me personally though, since I just moved all the way left and stayed there the entire game and avoided all physical obstacles doing so. The main mechanic was the star of the show though. Using small icons below the meters allows you to adjust the temperature and water levels. Each icon had their own pros and cons, such as the ice cubes made the plant colder, but the trade-off was the plant would get slightly more wet. The balance of these icons was very fair, which allowed for consistent results and easy balancing of the meters. The main complaint I had was the first time I played through, it was not made clear what the buttons did and how they worked. You need to click once for the button to take effect, and it will automatically continue to adjust the levels while the icon is still selected. You need to click the icon a second time to stop the change. This was easily figured out though by a little trial and error. The gameplay was quite simple overall, since the goal was just reaching the end as quickly as possible. The use of the mechanic temperature and water level control was fun, but there wasn't much user feedback to make the action satisfying. An animation of water pouring on the plant when selecting the water icon is a good example of something simple adding that much more extra polish to engage the player. The change of environment was also very little, so while playing, visually the game became repetitive on the eyes. The experience only lasted about 2 minutes, so the game did not drone on for longer than it needed. So with all this being said, what are my final thoughts? Leaf Quest was a 2-minute romp that had a nice mechanic that felt like it needed more attention than what it got. I believe if the focus was shifted on just the balancing of the temperature and water level and polished all aspects around this, the experience would have been more engaging and would have made me want to play through it more times to see the better times I could achieve. Visually, the game was appealing, which if the main gameplay loop was stronger, could have really made this game stand out much more in my mind. Overall, I would give the game a play to at least check out the main mechanic. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you were entertained by the video, please consider subscribing and sharing. I would love to hear your feedback down in the comments. But in the meantime, take care and be safe.